Welcome back to the channel. Aaron here from the Bitcoin Bros. Going to be getting into some MSTR updates here today, some Bitcoin updates, and I'm going to be getting into MSTY. It's what you guys have been asking to hear more about. So I'll be talking about IMST and MSTY. And you can see this chart here. I think this kind of sums it up from the differences of all these assets. You have Bitcoin, long-term savings, generational asset, MSTR, Bitcoin Alpha, investment. Then you have MSTY, which is monthly income, pays bills, and funds your lifestyle. And then you have STRK, STRF, cash alternative. Now I would say with STRK and STRF, those aren't really cash alternatives because you're still going to be getting around 10% return on your money. But also with STRK, you have the optionality to convert to MSTR shares once that share price goes up enough. So they're not just cash alternatives in my personal opinion, but going to be talking about MSTY today. You guys have been asking more and more about it. So I'm going to give you my thoughts. Nothing I say in today's video is financial advice. This is just how I'm thinking about MSTY and how I'm investing in it. So we can see here MSTY over the past year is down 38% at around $20. But remember, you're getting a distribution rate every single month on any money that you have with MSTY. So it's a fixed income product. You buy MSTY every single month. A check is cut to you, and then you can use that to either reinvest, take the money for your living expenses, whatever you want to do. It's basically just a fixed income product. And they've done pretty well. You can see they have $2.6 billion of assets under management for MSTY. So this is how I think about MSTY. I am not in the point in my life where I need a fixed income vehicle. So this is not something that I'm personally investing in. Basically what they're doing with MSTY, they're selling covered calls using MSTR shares and then generating a yield off of that. And that's how they're paying out all of these payments every single month. So basically they're just doing a selling covered call strategy, which if you just have MSTR stock yourself and you have over 100 shares, you will be able to actually sell your own covered calls and you wouldn't have to go through something like MSTY. But with that, you'd have to go and do it yourself. You're not using the advanced analytics that YieldMax is probably using. So you're probably not going to outperform MSTY if you're selling covered calls yourself, unless you have a lot of tools and data and analytics that you can use yourself to outperform the fund. So when you're selling covered calls, you actually put a cap on your upside most of the times to generate a premium, which with MSTR, because the volatility is so high, those premiums can get really, really expensive. So you're getting a lot of money by selling covered calls. So that's why they created this product. They're able to use MSTR shares to basically generate yield off the MSTR volatility. And that's how they're able to generate an 84.45% distribution rate. But I would say MSTY is a high risk investment because you're leaving it up to somebody else to generate that income for you, and things could go bad there. It's very high risk in my personal opinion. And you can see some of the other products that they have out on the market. They have TSLY, which is the YieldMax product for Tesla, generating yield on your, on Tesla shares. You can see that is down 80% in the past 5 years. And you can see their distribution rate is 72.29%. And you can see the performance of TSLY versus Tesla looking over the past 5 years. You can see back when they first started back in November of 2022, if you look at where Tesla is at right now, you're up 37% with Tesla versus being down 4% with TSLY. And they also have NVDY, which is their NVIDIA YieldMax. And you can see how that has done for them. Back here, you can see it launched in May of 2023. Right now, you can see if you would just invest in NVIDIA, you'd be up 288%. Versus investing in NVDY, you'd be up 144%. So over the long term, the underlying stock is most likely going to outperform these YieldMax products from looking at some of the other products that they have on the market. Like I said, this is not financial advice. Obviously, MSTY could be different, But if MSTR goes to $1 trillion company, where I personally think it's going to be going, that's my opinion, I think MSTR will outperform MSTY. So it's like, why would I buy MSTY? I'm not looking for any type of fixed income instrument right now. If you are, MSTY could be a good option for you, especially if MSTR continues to perform well. Because you can see here, as NVIDIA has been up 300%, NVDY is up 140% with the yield. So that is actually a really good return, but you probably would have been better off just buying the NVIDIA shares. And this chart here does show the dividend payments included in this performance here. So my thoughts are, if you want to go ahead and invest in MSTY just to have some fixed income and still have some exposure to MSTR, it's probably not a bad idea. But if you're looking to get optimal returns, you're probably just going to buy the underlying asset of MSTR. And if you're looking to sell your own covered calls, that is probably going to be very hard for you to outperform something like MSTY, because they're probably using tools that you don't have access to, or they're paying a lot of money for it to put their trades in to be able to be very profitable in what they're doing. So I would say MSTY is not a bad investment if you believe in the long-term future of MSTR, but I do think that MSTR will outperform MSTY over the long term, and I don't think it'll be close. I think you're going to see something like this for these two products over the next couple of years. And then getting into MSTR a little bit, we can see right now MSTR is trading around $2.5 billion of volume today in the top 10. That is good to see there. And getting into some Bitcoin news, we have Metaplanet. They acquired 319 Bitcoin for around 26 million. This was a couple of days ago, but Metaplanet continuing to buy Bitcoin. And take note of all the Bitcoin proxies that are continuing to buy Bitcoin and the other ones that have been quiet. Some of these companies that say, hey, we're going to adopt a Bitcoin strategy company, they haven't bought Bitcoin in a while. And it's kind of like, where did you guys go? Why aren't you buying the Bitcoin dip? So we'll see if some of these other companies start to come on and say, hey, we've been buying Bitcoin, but we haven't seen any company be as consistent as Metaplanet and Strategy. And then 1723, Moon Inc. Hong Kong now holds 28.88 Bitcoin. The board is pleased to announce they purchased 10 Bitcoin over the past week, so they're adding some more Bitcoin to their company's asset allocation strategy. So good to see you there. More companies stacking more and more BTC. So that is all I had for today's video. Let me know what you guys think about MSTY in the comment section below. Will you be investing? Will you be putting some of your portfolio in MSTY? Let me know what you guys think. If I missed anything about MSTY, if I'm completely wrong, also leave that in the comment section below. But I have a clip here that I want to play for you guys. Let's go ahead and check it out. Like and subscribe. We have new content coming out every single day, but I'll catch you guys then.
And if you just want Bitcoin to be successful, when you hear the Bank of Shanghai is rolling out a Bitcoin ETF, custody to the Bank of Shanghai, you would say, that's great. That's going to give access to Bitcoin to 1.5 billion people in China. Okay. And they're going to buy a bunch of Bitcoin. The price of Bitcoin is going to go up to $10 million coin. So here's the question. Do you want the billion people in China to be rich? And do you want to be rich while the Chinese government still has a bunch of laws that you may or may not agree with? Or do you want the people in China to be poor and you to be poor while the Chinese government has a set of laws that you don't agree with?
Pretty easy.
Or do you think that you're so great, you're Superman, that you can just go and topple the entire government by barking on Twitter? It's like, I just don't think, right, that you're going to topple, an entire sovereign nation with your ideology. So